Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10 and support the channel at the same time. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to part 5 of our 5-part look at cards that might be reprinted in Iconic Masters. We've been looking at all of the promised tribes, and we're wrapping things up today with Hydras. Now, I'm going to warn you right off the bat. Hydras, there's actually not all that many in the history of Magic when you look back compared to the other tribes. They are big cards. We've seen more of them in recent years, but when you go back, there's not a whole ton of them out there. So unfortunately, a lot of these Hydra cards are going to hold a pretty low value. So if they do get reprinted, hopefully they'll come in at maybe lower rarities. That would be nice considering the expected value requirements of a set that costs $10 a pack. Now, quickly before we get started with our list though, things have been tough, I'll be honest, with YouTube right now with some of the demonetization with the new YouTube algorithm that's been going on. So if you can take a moment to check out the description below and find some ways to support us as a channel, it's always appreciated. You're going to find our Patreon page linked down there. You'll find some links to Amazon products if you make any purchases via those links, and really anything once you go into Amazon via those links. A small percentage will come back to us. And finally, Flipside Gaming was nice enough to give our viewers a promo code, which is really, really sweet. So there's a link down there for that too. With that being said, let's get into the cards. We're going to start off real cheap, 78 cents, Phyrexian Hydra. Okay, like I said, if you watched the Dragon installment of this the other day, you'll know that this is a big difference between Hydras and Dragons when it comes to value. Phyrexian Hydra, though, I picked this one because it's unique. It's never been reprinted. It's got Infect. And I don't know, 78 cents. I don't really think it could be an uncommon, unfortunately. It probably would have to stay at rare, but it's a Hydra that some players might actually be interested in picking up, so I included it. Next, Apocalypse Hydra, 84 cents. Okay, this was a mythic. It got busted down to rare in Modern Masters 2015. Don't think it can go much lower than that, unfortunately. It's a good limited card, and that's why I chose it here. It's a decent limited card. I think the art's amazing on this card, too, by the way. I bet it looks amazing in foil. I've never seen a foil of this, but it's a sweet card for limited purposes, so it seems like it would make sense in the set. Genesis Hydra from Magic 2015, 87 cents. Now, this card was one of the cards that was designed by the guest designers. That was a series of cards they did in Magic 2015, and this was designed by George Fan, who created Plants vs. Zombies. So, it's kind of an interesting card. It's got a cool story behind it. Maybe just for that reason it makes it into the set. Next, we have Vastwood Hydra from Magic 2014, 92 cents. It's never been reprinted. I feel like this one's a little undervalued. Last November, when Breed Lethality came out, a lot of players got interested in the +1/+1 theme for Commander, and I don't know, this card seems like it would fit well in some of those builds, and maybe it was just overlooked. I don't know, but it feels like it has more potential than just 92 cents here financially. But regardless, I think it's a good limited card for the rare spot, maybe the uncommon spot, as long as there's a lot of strong removal in Iconic Masters. Polukranos World Eater, 95 cents from Theros. This was a mythic. This easily could be a rare. This might even be able to be an uncommon in the set, again, if there's enough really strong support for removal. It's a cool card, but Theros did have a very high print run, so this is a card that is very common out there and easy to find, which is a little bit unfortunate. This was also featured in a dual deck too, so it's real easy to find a Polukranos. For that reason, maybe it doesn't make the cut, but it's a good card. It's definitely a good limited card. Hooded Hydra, $1.25. Okay, we finally broke $1. This one was a mythic from Khans of Tarkir. It's got Morph. It also creates snake tokens, which again, a lot of players are looking for cards that do that. So again, it feels maybe a little undervalued for what it is. And again, this is another card that perhaps could be an uncommon in the right limited environment. Mana Gorger Hydra, $1.47. I really like this card. It was last seen in Commander 2016. You put this in play in a multiplayer game, and it can be pretty crazy pretty quick. Your opponents have to do something to it. They got to destroy it. And they're not going to feel great using the removal spell on a 3 casting cost creature that comes in as a 1/1. But if they don't, the thing is just going to keep growing and growing, and it's a big old trampler. It gets out of hand. So it's a good card for limited purposes. And again, not super expensive. I don't really see this one getting busted down to uncommon, though. Feral Hydra, $1.63. Another cool multiplayer card, which, I don't know, maybe gets a reprint here, but I like the fact that any player can put the +1/+1 counter on it. So if you're in some sort of combat situation, you're tapped out, but an opponent wants to help you out, or maybe take out a creature that is in combat with this that they don't want on the board, it does open up some interesting lines of play. Lifeblood Hydra, $1.69. This is a card that can lead to card draw, so if they're trying to find some cards that can incorporate card draw, especially if they're going a little more creature heavy with this tribal theme in Iconic Masters, maybe this one gets an inclusion. This is another one that I don't think could be uncommon, but maybe shows up in the rare spot. Brodian Hydra, $1.78. This was originally a mythic in Magic 2010. It got busted down to rare Magic 2011. I don't know, could it get busted down again to uncommon? Again, if there's enough removal, strong removal in the set, I think it would be okay. It doesn't have high value, so if it does show up in the set, I'd rather see it as an uncommon. Ulashed the Hate Seed at $1.90 from Guild Pack. Never been reprinted. It's a unique card. It only costs 4, but you don't really want to play it on turn 4. This is a card you want to hold on to have a pretty good board state with a lot of red and green creatures, because that's how it gets its +1/+1 counters. Now, it also makes tokens. It can deal damage to creatures. It's very unique, and I feel like it actually could be an uncommon and be okay in probably most limited environments nowadays. Savageborn Hydra, this was a mythic, $1.94. This probably could come in as a rare. I mean, Double Strike's good, especially if it's got a lot of counters on it, but it doesn't have flying or anything. I feel like it could be okay as a rare. Sprouting Phyto Hydrant, $2.16 from Dissension. Never been reprinted again. This one's interesting to me because when we look at the Ixalan preview so far, we have the Enrage mechanic and a lot of things that seem like they're going to come into play and like ping our stuff or ping everything to get abilities to trigger. And this would work really great with some of those cards. So maybe it gets a reprint just because of that fact that they want to give people an idea to play maybe in Commander with cards like this that are a little bit older and some of the new stuff coming into play. So again, this could probably be an uncommon and be okay in the set, I think. Phyto Hydra, $2.48. You're paying a lot for a 1/1 here. However, whenever it's dealt damage, it grows, which is actually a pretty cool idea. I like the concept behind this card. Again, your opponents are going to have to find a way to get rid of it with maybe an exile spell or something like that, or a destroy spell, because damage is not going to cut it. So it's unique, it's different, and I don't really see this one being an uncommon. I think it's just a little too unique. So a rare at $2.48, though, is starting to feel at least a little bit better. Hydra Omnivore, $3.31 from the first Conspiracy. It was a mythic there. It's actually a pretty interesting card, an 8/8 for 6, so that actually feels pretty good for the casting cost. But on top of that, when it deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. So it's fantastic in Commander, any multiplayer situation. Now, Iconic Masters is going to be built more for a one-on-one gameplay situation, but at the same time, I mean, an 8/8 for 6 is still really good, and if they're looking for a place to reprint this, seems like it could work. This definitely could come into play as a rare in this set, and I think it'd be fine. Colonian Hydra, $4.78. This is another card that's like really strong and limited if you ever played with it, and the counters can get crazy pretty quick. So could this be a rare? Again, maybe. It just depends on how powerful the removal and the defensive spells are in the set. I'd rather see it as a rare than a mythic, of course, but it is creeping up closer to $5, which starts to feel like a good price point for some of the rares in the set. Primordial Hydra, $6.75 from Magic 2013. It was a mythic there, is yet to be reprinted. Very similar to the previous card we looked at for a Hydra that grows and can get out of control pretty quickly if left unchecked. Colony Hydra at $11 from Rise of the Eldrazi. This card can be really sweet in a mono green deck, obviously. It's not going to be quite as good probably in a limited format because you're not going to be all in on green in most cases unless your draft goes really well for you. But it has been a card that is yet to see a reprint and has had a little bit of a fan following. It's got a nice price tag attached to it. So this could actually be a mythic and feel okay as a pickup if I spent $10 for a pack. Progenitus, $11.03, although I do want to point out that's the price point for the Modern Masters version. If you get the Grand Prix promo version of the card, it's actually a lot cheaper. You can find those usually for $4 or $5. So this is maybe a little misleading for the price point, but it's also one of those iconic cards. We saw this as a mythic in Modern Masters in the first one. Feels like this could be a mythic in Iconic Masters, and it would make sense with the theme of the set. All right, our last card's not a Hydra. Surprise, it's doubling season. $58.24 for the Modern Masters version. The reason I put this here is because it plays really well with Hydras. Will it make it? I kind of feel like we have a chance of seeing it here. It's been a long time since it's been reprinted. This has been a wildly popular card in Commander. It has seen a little bit of modern play in like doubling Planeswalkers decks in the past. You don't see a whole lot of that anymore, but the doubling season effect in Commander just gets out of hand. Folks that have bought into the Breed Lethality deck last November, a lot of them went right to this card for an upgrade, and this card got very hot. It's come down a little bit since then as time went on, but just generally, this is going to be a card that is going to continue to go up in value if they don't reprint it very, very soon. I feel like we're going to see it. I feel like it's time. It makes sense with Hydras. I mean, they could pull a fast one on us and print one of the variants of this card that isn't as good, but I hate to see that. I do think it will get the bump up to Mythic. It will sell packs. It has a really nice price point to it. They're not going to waste that on a rare when they're trying to flush out the expected value, but I have a really strong feeling it's going to be there. All right, with that being said, that wraps up our look at Hydras and wraps up our look at the 5 tribes of Iconic Masters. So we're going to know soon enough. People are going to sit down at HasCon and play with this set. Even though it doesn't come out till the end of November, we're going to be getting a lot of information, probably pretty much the whole set, really soon. So I'll report that out once we find out about it. I'm intrigued to see what this looks like. They did promise those 5 tribes as well as memorable spells, whatever memorable spells means. I tried to sprinkle some memorable spells in these lists. You saw Doubling Season there. So I'm really intrigued to see where they go with this. It feels like maybe it's going to be like a Commander Masters or something like that, because if you do focus on these tribes, a lot of times the particular tribes they called out are powerful swingy creatures. They're not your streamlined, constructed, like modern playable creatures typically. So I'm really intrigued. I want to see what's going to happen with this thing. So hey, until next time, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.